All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the brand spanking new year 2021. It's a new edition of the Studs podcast, STUDS Studs. We got three amazing studs here and one loser stud, and he's in the bottom right corner. That's Louie. Louie, what's going on, my man?
Starting the year off on the right foot, getting called the loser. So, we'll
That's
just
right.
take
We
it
up
from there,
from
one
here.
day at a time. That's the mentality.
That's right. I do like your haircut, though.
Thanks, buddy.
Very sharp, very sharp.
I had Ray Charles do it for me.
You got Rach. Okay. All right. Yeah. Anyway, moving on up, top right corner. In the Chris Dunn corner, we got Mr. Will Winfield. How you doing, man?
Not bad, not bad. Happy New Year's, fellas.
Happy New Year's. What's in that red cup? What's in that red cup?
It's just water right now. It's last
boy.
night.
Oh boy. And in the left, we have our newest addition to the team today. This guy gets a chance to work with him. Awesome dude. He knows his stuff. This is John Burke rocking the Jarrett Stidham jersey, and he's going to have his own moment in a couple minutes to talk about Jarrett Stidham. But John, how you doing, man? Welcome in.
It's nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, let's get into it today. We're going to start off with the Patriots for the first time in, I really don't count 2008. We'll go 20 years. For the first time in 20 years, the Patriots are not in the playoffs. For the 15th time in 20 years, the Raiders are not in the playoffs either. I'm just kidding. I'm going to give them their due right now. Way better season. Their team is way better off in terms of talent than the Patriots are. Would you agree with that, Will? I think you have to.
Not way better.
No?
I mean, if the Patriots had a full roster, minus COVID and minus the players that sat out, the record would be totally different.
Definitely.
And plus, the coaching is what killed us for the Raiders this year.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Your offense, though, is so superior to ours. So maybe not the defense, but the offense.
Oh, no, definitely not the defense. The offense, yeah, but the defense is terrible.
Oh, yeah, no, that's brutal. So what would you say the biggest – is the defense the issue or the coaching? Or obviously both, but what's the bigger one?
I'll go bigger. The biggest the coaching. Because we had – there's times when we have 3rd and 5 and we're throwing it to the fullback with the game on the line. And the way we lost to Miami was just a joke. You got the ball on the 5-yard line, you don't score, you take a knee, and you kick a field goal, and then Miami turns around and scores at the end. So coaching is definitely bigger, but the defense was just terrible.
Do you think he lost his touch, Gruden?
I think he's still back in, 2002 when he was running with 3 tight ends and a fullback. You can't run that. You can't run that power football anymore. It's not going to work. There's too much speed on defense. And then we played Kansas City. You want to all-out blitz them all game long. And Pat Mahomes made us look stupid. We even had Phillip Rivers throw for 365 on us. Everyone we faced went off against us. So yeah, you can't run that same style you've been doing since 2002 and expect it to work.
What would you what's your plan for them this year? What do they do to get past this?
For next year?
Yeah.
We need a new quarterback for one. Yeah, I think Derek Carr he's run his course. And then we have so much like Jason Witten. That was a pointless signing.
Yeah.
Get rid of Jason Witten. Tyrell Williams can't stay healthy. Get rid of him. We signed a bunch of old veterans on the defensive line. Get rid of D line and draft is big. You got to draft studs. We haven't had a good draft in about 3 or 4 years, and one time we do, we trade him away. Like, we took Henry Ruggs, and there was 4 receivers ahead of him there. I would have taken over Henry Ruggs. I would have took Jefferson. I would have took Lamb. I would have took Judy. And we took Ruggs, and he only played 3 games. We have to draft better. And there's a whole lot of depth at middle linebacker and outside linebacker this year. Go linebacker.
Now, I pose that question to you. Do you think it's a reflection of the talent they're drafting or the system they're putting into?
I think it's more the system, because when you're drafting a shutdown corner, it's telling them to go play zone coverage. It's so hard to adjust because Arnett was one of the top corners coming out in the draft. And he flat out said he's never played in a zone before. He's so used to playing man. So there was so many times he was just leaving his guy open. But he was expecting a safety to be there. But then we have a safety that plays like a linebacker. So he's biting on every play action. So you bite on a play action, the deep ball's there. And when there's cap money and there's free agents out there, it's just a matter of who we go after and get. I mean, I think the Raiders and the Patriots in a similar boat. They both need a new quarterback, but they need a new direction. And I think the biggest name is probably going to be Carson Wentz.
For the Raiders, I was gonna ask you, do you think, because I know Gruden, I was living in Tampa when he won. Do you think he's a good coach, or do you think that whole Tampa Super Bowl was more of like Dungy's thing?
Well, I think when he was coaching, that smash mouth football worked. The defensive, they weren't throwing the ball the way they are now. So if you have teams throwing the way they are, that smash mouth would work. When he had Mike Allstott and he had Charlie Garner and those guys, yeah, that would Ty Wheatley, that would work. But now nobody uses a fullback. If you use a fullback, you're not using to throw it to him. Our fullback was one of our key guys.
Yeah, I think with the Patriots,
James Devlin was a big part of that.
Yeah, he's the only other fullback I even know of.
Yeah,
but I mean, when you have a 3rd and 5 and the game's on the line, we're the only team that's going to our fullback on a 3-yard pass.
Falca a fullback?
Yeah.
No, he's a halfback.
Yeah.
Fullback, I would expect that would be like a 3rd and 1 or even a 4th and 1 or 4th and inches, just to get the ball because he's a big dude.
I know the 49ers, they use their fullback with Juszczyk. They use him a lot out the backfield, but he's a smaller fullback. He's not a blocking fullback, and I go to our fullback. We just use him way too much.
Well, that's what the Patriots used to do. I mean, even a few years ago with Devlin. Devlin would go out in the backfield. He would do his fullback dives, but they'd put him in the flat. They'd bring him out there. They'd pass it to him. Even last year, right? He got hurt. Brady's last year or it was either the year before, that offense changed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was last year's Brady's last year. The offense completely changed, not having him into block, which didn't allow holes to open up for Sony Michel. That was a big difference. But you think I see at this point, I think Gruden is just running on reputation right now.
Yeah. And he got a 10-year deal. You can't give a coach 10 years. 10 years, $100 million.
That sounds like a Jerry Jones type of deal.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's probably got a year left, and I think he's probably going to step down if they don't win again. If he can't turn it around.
That's like bringing in Bill Cowher after 12 years of not coaching, 15 years. There was rumors of him wanting to come back. It's like you've been out of the game for 12 years, dude. Why?
And the thing is, if you're coming back, you're not going to a winning team because a winning team is not firing their coach.
No.
So you're starting over from the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I will say one thing, or as you said earlier, Gruden is still in that 2002 mind. I mean, he does have one thing in his favor, and that's the Patriots aren't in the playoffs, just like 2002. So, there's one little fun fact for you.
So, with the Patriots, there are a lot of things that I would like to see them do. Do I think they can flip this in one offseason? Absolutely not. And I think it starts at the draft. Their drafting, just like the Raiders, has been putrid ever since I think their last. I mean, I like Owenu. I like some of the guys that they've picked on defense the past couple of years. I think Winovich is a good player.
Yeah.
Just a little inconsistent, and I don't think Belichick gives him that consistent playing time, which is kind of interesting. I like Damian Harris. I've been saying Damian Harris for a couple of years. Last year, I said, why isn't this dude playing? Why not? He's solid. He's going to be a running back. I think Sony Michel's days are done here. I don't know where he's going to go. But Owenu on the offensive line has been a solid pick. I like Isaiah Wynn. He just doesn't stay healthy. So I think there have been some solid picks. But, I mean, when's the last time, other than I do not consider Jake Bailey. I mean, Jake Bailey is a beast, but when's the last time they drafted a Pro Bowler? Chandler Jones? It's been years. Malcolm Mitchell was one of their biggest draft picks unfortunately ended in injury. But that's 2016, 2015. They have not had consistent drafts. You go through Derek Rivers, what's the other kid? Dietrich Wise.
Mm.
But they're all Malcolm Brown. Just not good drafting. And I think if the Patriots had a better drafting, Jarrett Stidham. Obviously, the dude cannot get on the field right now. I think that is a little something behind the coaching with that. I think they could definitely get a more opportunity, but we'll talk about that. But just the drafting needs to get better. And one of the things I heard is that Belichick is kind of taking on the draft by himself. He's not listening to his scouts. He's not listening to the scouts that told him, don't draft N'Keal Harry. But because N'Keal Harry had one good meeting with him and sounded professional, they took N'Keal Harry over A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, all these other guys. And it's the draft. That's where it starts, and it could have been a better transition if they've been drafting well.
I feel like Harry wouldn't be bad as a third or fourth option, but he's definitely not a number one go-to option. He's not that guy. And the tight end drafting is you gotta raise some question marks there with Asiasi and I forgot the other kid's name. I know
Dalton Keene.
Was Dalton Keene, yeah. So those I didn't see too much burn from those
guys. Wait, before you continue, they traded up to get those two.
Right.
And they
Izzo is horrible too.
Useless. Just complete.
I mean, Cam. Mess. I don't know if Cam would have really even gotten the ball. Really, I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, we could talk about Cam as a leader, his mentality. I loved everything about the guy. I loved how he handled the media. I want to root for the guy. I really do. Like, I like him as a person. I would love to see Cam Newton succeed, but it's tough when you see him in the pocket and he's getting flustered and he's throwing some of these passes that are just irate. I mean, I feel like he caused a lot of our turnovers and he put a lot of pressure on the defense. Our defense was really under pressure in those stages, and I feel like we were middle of the pack, maybe a little top tier defense, even with the people out, just because it's the Belichick's and they know how to scheme for teams and things of that nature. But it was just tough. It was tough for the defense. And I mean, at the same time, it's like, who does he really have to throw out there to?
Yeah, but it seems like when he throws, though, like I remember when Brady was here, they used to call him Noodle Arm. Brady's down in Tampa throwing bombs, and Cam is just barely getting it. You know, it's either not going.
The dude can't throw 5 yards.
Yeah,
but he throws a beautiful medium ball.
If he can't throw 5 yards, I don't know why he's not checking down to James White more.
Exactly.
James White.
You did not use James White at all this year. Their best offensive weapon.
He should have 65 catches minimum.
Yep.
I don't understand though, like how he can have a game like Seattle, and then have games like last week. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, Seattle's defense, we found out, was completely trash. Completely trash. But like my question is too, it's like, well, let's go back to James White. I mean, if I'm Tom Brady, I'm trying to get that guy down to Tampa Bay. Like, I'm trying to look at him and say, dude, we need you, because Ronald Jones can't catch the ball. Leonard Fournette can't catch the ball. That's Brady's go-to, is that check down, that James White. If I'm him, I'm trying to get James White down to Tampa Bay.
That's why Tampa Bay drafted Keyshawn Vaughn. He's supposed to have been the receiving back, and that's what they're hoping for him to come back next year. I know he got injured in the preseason, but that's what he's supposed to be, is his check down guy. I know James White's signed for another year or two.
Honestly, though, at that point, they should just change the name to the freaking Tampa Bay Patriots.
Well, you know, in terms of Tampa Bay, I don't see them. I honestly see them as a first-round exit. I don't see them make it to the Super Bowl. Whether it's a first-round, second-round exit, I really don't see that.
I would honestly not be surprised, because I think, in my opinion, I think the Giants are going to win the NFC East. I wouldn't be surprised if some of that old Giants magic against New England, well, Brady, came back to work. I mean, look what they did earlier. They almost beat them earlier this year. I know they're kind of a different team now, but my question is if they do are, or if they are a first round exit, is Arians gone next year?
I think he's gone no matter what.
Really? Even with a somehow Super Bowl win?
Oh, if they win the Super Bowl, no.
But
I
I
think
think
if they lose, he's out.
yeah, I wouldn't be watch I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone, McDaniels gets free, and then ends up down in Tampa. And Tom's getting jobs for all his friends. He's got AB there. He's got Gronk there. Shit, you never know. Edelman may be there before you know it.
I think Edelman's fried.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you never know.
Unfortunately, I think Edelman is done. He's going to go down as one of the greatest Patriots. I've never seen a guy, his competitiveness, his just ability to go out and ball like that dude. He did not deserve a year like this. And I do think he's done. I don't think he goes down. I think he's probably going to call it quits. If he does come back, I do think he wants to be here in New England. I think he still has a point to prove that he's just not Brady's guy, which he wasn't. He was playing well with Newton until he got hurt. He was playing all right. Even against Seattle, he's like 162 yards.
Didn't he play well? Again, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Didn't he play well back when Garoppolo was QB?
Oh, I know where you're going with this. Yes, he did play well with Jimmy Garoppolo. And that brings up my next point. The first thing they got to do is they got to clear that QB room. Clear it out. Clean house. Done with Jarrett Stidham. I'm done with Cam Newton under the right circumstance. And here's what I would do. You ready for this? I draft a young quarterback. That doesn't mean it has to be the first round. I draft for needs. If you got a great defensive player, if you got a great D lineman, I mean, Willie, I'm sure you know more about the draft than I do. I know it's a very quarterback heavy draft, but I mean, if the Patriots end up with the 13th or 12th pick, if they have a chance at a solid defensive lineman, I'm taking that guy. I'm not taking the quarterback.
Take Kwity Paye.
Kwity Paye. Yeah.
Kwity Paye.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
Kwity Paye. Rhode Island product.
Yeah, like I'm taking that dude. I'm drafting. I'm not drafting the first round quarterback unless he's the best available option. I'm not.
Kwity Paye is perfect for the Patriots because he's positionless. You can put him at outside linebacker. He ran track in high school. You can put him at the DN, outside linebacker, inside. He's a little bit smaller, but he reminds me a lot of Gerard Mayo, the way Gerard Mayo would play.
Yeah,
he's just a ball hawk all over the place, and he's gonna have a long career. But it's just I think another thing with the Patriots with drafting, whenever somebody has a good bowl game or a good Senior Bowl, that's who they grab.
Yeah.
It's like Sony Michel balled out in the Senior Bowl, balled out in the Continental Bowl game. He went, and the pick right after him was Nick Chubb. So it's like you play well at the end, and the way Kwity just got screwed with Michigan's COVID and whatnot. I mean, but when it comes to the combine, he's gonna play well. But I just think the hype with the BYU quarterback, there's too much hype with Zach Wilson being a perfect Patriot fit. I can see them grabbing him at 12 or 13.
What about the that wide receiver from what's it? Is it Alabama?
He'll be gone.
You think he'll be gone? Yeah, mock draft had him going 12th to the Patriots on ESPN.
I mean, he just won Player of the Year. He's probably gonna win the Heisman. And depending on what he does, because you're gonna have Miami has the 5th pick. They're probably taking the quarterback. I'm taking a wide receiver. They have Houston's pick, and a couple of teams before that. I can see them taking him. But yeah, Houston. That was the dumbest trade for Houston.
Wait, yeah. I mean, you saw their trade for when they
Hopkins.
sent out D Hop. So I mean, I don't know. They got a lot. Bill O'Brien. He's definitely GM of the year for other teams.
Oh yeah, for other teams. Yeah.
Good old Billy King action.
Billy King.
The heist.
Yep. But no, I'm drafting for needs next year. Like and I think the biggest thing is just Bill Belichick. He gets in the way of himself when it comes to the draft, and I think it's time to let the scouts do their job. Because with Bill Belichick just saying, "Oh, N'Keal Harry was very nice to me. I'm going to take him." That's not going to win the games. Now you had good picks with Winovich. You had good pick with Harris. Josh Uche, solid player. But I'm clearing that QB house. I'm bringing in a veteran Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm bringing in uh, a young quarterback, whether that's, even if it is the first round, but if it's not second, third round, I'm bringing in a young quarterback. I honestly don't think it's going to be Stidham unless Stidham, comes out and throws 6 touchdowns against the Jets, but that's not going to happen. And I would bring back Cam Newton. I would bring him back to battle for a job, not to be a guaranteed starter, to battle. So if you have a room with a young quarterback, whether it's, Zach Wilson or someone else in the later rounds, you bring in a Jimmy G, because there's talks that Belichick would trade the stinking second rounder for Jimmy Garoppolo to get him back here, and he's on the outs in the 49ers. And you bring in you bring in Cam Newton. I think that's a good room to battle for, especially Newton. Like that is his last. That's his last shot. Like that's it.
But what about this? Well, first off, the Patriots love to have 3 quarterbacks. I mean, I think they still have Hoyer, but
I'd bring Brissett back.
Yeah.
But with Newton, I just wish they would do like some Saints type stuff. Like put Newton as he's good with the ball when he doesn't fumble. But also another thing towards the Garoppolo thing, wouldn't it be pretty funny if Bill gets Garoppolo back and Tampa and Tom come back up to New England next year?
That'd be awesome. Oh my God. Oh, dude.
They finally get the heir versus the GOAT.
There's secret hate between them two. I really
of course
think
there
so.
is.
I really think so.
Brady
pushed him out.
He did because he was afraid. The pretty boy was afraid of the pretty boy.
Yeah.
He realized he wasn't the prettiest one in the group anymore.
Yep.
I like Stafford. If we could get,
I would take him.
Yeah, him too.
I would take
him.
He's a baller.
I would take him.
He deserves an actual good coach and a good I feel like he could do well in our system and maybe get us. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if you could get a package deal of him and Kenny Golladay.
Well, Galladay's a free agent.
Yeah, I'm just saying, not a trade, but if you can get Stafford in a trade and sign Golladay, which Belichick isn't going to do because he doesn't spend money. But if you could do that, I mean, that's awesome right there. That's chemistry right there, and that offense gets a little bit better because Galladay's a solid receiver.
Was Stafford to the 49ers to give him a chance to win, and the 49ers have a team that's built when they're healthy to make a run. I don't see Detroit sending him to New England just because they want to send him with one more chance to win, let him go out.
But doesn't Detroit have a lot of New England office? I thought they had. I mean, besides Patricia, I know he's gone, but I thought they had a couple of people in their front office that were a part of the Patriots organization at one point.
Yeah, they still have them, but they'll probably clean house in the offseason now that Patricia's gone. Once the new regime starts.
Oh, and sorry. And Mike, when you were talking about Belichick, I think his problem is he just wears too many hats. He just kind of has to focus. I wish he would just focus on coaching, like you say, and have somebody else as GM.
Right, you can take that from any perspective too. It's like if you're out here doing this, and this, the quality of work is just going to go down. If you focus on one area,
he's wearing himself too thin.
But it's an ego thing with him. I feel like you know? It's an ego thing, and that's we'll never know if we'll be able to take that away from him. Because it's like I coach, I do this. We're gonna do the things the way I want it. That's Belichick, and that's how it's always been.
And it's hard telling somebody who has 8 rings, you're doing too much. 8 rings because he has 2 with the Giants.
He's got control of the franchise. I think him and Kraft have a deal where Kraft's not telling Belichick, you need to leave. It's Belichick telling Kraft, I'm ready to leave.
Yeah.
I think that's a deal.
That may have happened after Jimmy left. He may have been like, all right, fine, we can get rid of Jimmy, but I want this, and I want this, and I want this.
Hey, can I give you a quick stab at Garoppolo? Because I'm going to make my case for him, and I guarantee you, I bet you $50 he's going to be the starting quarterback of the Patriots next year.
I wouldn't be mad.
Jimmy Garoppolo is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th all-time in winning percentage as a starter.
How many games is that?
8th.
How many games?
35, but I don't care. That's a stat.
50.
Hey, I mean, he did go on that winning streak of what?
Newton has a 534 winning percentage. Garoppolo has a 743, so 74%. He wins 74% when he's healthy. Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, man. Well, there's another.
He's 500 in the playoffs. That's not too bad.
Yeah, he
Tebow
is.
mania.
The last thing I'll say too, like looking at quarterbacks, and I saw Lamar Jackson's name. I don't think Lamar Jackson's the perfect quarterback, but like just the fact like that's a situation where I wouldn't have taken the positional need. Like if you loved him so much, you could have taken Isaiah Wynn, but instead of Sony Michel, you're telling me you couldn't have taken Lamar Jackson as a bet? He'd be better than Newton this year. And I'm not saying
Okay.
he could have been the guy of the future, but I would have taken him over Sony Michel. You can't say that. You can't say that's wrong.
But with Jackson, my question is if he goes one and done again, like the past 2 years, then you have questions of can he put it in that overdrive, or is he kind of like going to be like a, not that Peyton didn't win, but is he going to be like a Peyton where he can get you there, but then more often than not he kind of stalls out in the playoffs?
I mean, yeah, that's just better than Cam Newton. That's all I'm trying. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, I think Lamar Jackson gets you to the freaking playoffs this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also I feel like
Offense.
yeah, I feel like also if he would have had more, if everybody would have had training camp, and you take away COVID, I think the Patriots definitely have a couple more wins. I mean, really, if you think about it, they're a couple of plays away from being what, probably
8-6.
8-6, not maybe 8-6. Yeah, sorry, can't speak.
You had Seattle. You had Buffalo. Houston was just a dinger, but you should have won that one. But
They
that's
could have won Kansas if he wasn't out.
yeah. If they should
Kansas City.
You
I don't know
realize
why they-
Hoyer went on 2 11-play drives that game. That was like the best offensive sequences of the year with Brian Hoyer as the quarterback.
And then he forgot
And
what.
then he forgot, but still, I'm just saying, in terms of pure passing offense, that was the best stinking drives of the year. But anyway, before we move on to the Celtics, any final thoughts on the Patriots?
So, for all three of you, say starting quarterback week 1, who is it?
Jimmy G.
I'm hoping for Jimmy.
I'm getting my jersey.
Jimmy, I would say either Jimmy, somehow Cam, or a QB from the draft. Those are my top.
It's gonna be Cam Newton.
Ugh.
Going Carson Wentz.
Ugh.
Oh,
Ugh. No.
I mean, you never know. You give him an organization like Belichick, and honestly, you got to remember, the coach of the Eagles, I've forgotten his name. Belichick likes him a lot. He actually wrote a letter to the Eagles owner saying, "Hey, you need to hire this dude." So you never know. That could be a trade.
They already got a deal with the 49ers, dude. Dude, you only gave us a 2nd-round pick, dude. You're giving him back to us.
You just want
They
him
already
back
have
because
that
he's your
deal.
twin.
Yes, but I think they do. Like I think they have like 49ers. Like they have an under the table deal. Like we're moving on. I think the 49ers are gonna go after Kirk Cousins.
What?
Oh, boy.
Shannon. Yeah. Oh yeah. Shanahan has a relationship with Cousins from Washington.
Yeah, but
he loves
Cousins
Kyle.
can't-
He loves Cousins.
But he can't win.
Read the rumors are all about Shanahan and Kirk Cousins and wanted to bring him into San Francisco. Either him or Matt Stafford.
What
Hey, I
if, what
can
if,
see Steph.
Because to Garoppolo's uncredit, he does get hurt. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not injury prone. He gets hurt a lot. At least Cousins plays almost every single week. Stafford plays, but there's a relationship between him and Cousins.
what about Matty Ice down in Atlanta? Do you think he could ever end up out there?
Maybe.
Get away from that dumpster fire?
Atlanta, yeah. The talent they have on that offense too is just like I would take Calvin Ridley. I would take Julio Jones. Like,
I'll
Like-
take their third receiver.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that third receiver?
Rage,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gage.
Russell Gage.
Gage, yeah.
Yeah. Jeez, but
Nobody can blow a lead like Atlanta.
nobody can blow a lead like Atlanta. All right, let's move on into the Celtics. 3-2 to start the year. Not too bad.
Should be
But
4-1.
Not too good either. Let's start it off with Louie because I have a big wish list and notes that I have about the Celtics. Let's go to you, dude. But before we do it, let's do a little plug in. The MJR podcast family is live. We got 3 new podcasts on here, including this one, the Studs podcast. We have Meetup with Mila. That's going to be a podcast with my great friend, Melissa Hooks. She's going to talk about all things about life, relationships, everything. And then we have our other podcast, MJR and Friends. That's with me, and I'm going to be interviewing business owners, anyone who's running local charities, just a way and platform for everyone to come on and speak about what they're doing in their careers and in the community. And then lastly, actually, we'll save that to the end. We have another one joining in too, but we'll save that to the end. We'll save that. Will be a surprise. Right, Will?
That's right.
We'll save that announcement for the end. But anyway, Louie, start us off.
So, talking about a little Celtics talk action there. So,
Very good. Yes.
we're 3-2 to start off. My initial thoughts, man. Jalen is a baller, and Jalen has been constantly, I think, throughout the years, just underused in the Celtics offense, and I'm glad that this opportunity kind of brings his skills to light because he can handle the rock. He can shoot the mid range. He can shoot the three. He can take it to the paint. He can defend. I mean, Jalen Brown is an absolute monster, and I've always seen that since his first rookie his rookie year. I could tell the kid was going to be a stud. I bought a jersey immediately. This was when Isaiah Thomas and the Jay Crowders of the world were on the Celtics. Seems like very long ago, but really impressed with Jalen. Peyton Pritchard, he's been a surprise. A welcoming surprise, another ball handler who can shoot the 3 ball. It seems like at a very high level. And the kid's tough. He uses his body. He's 6'1", about 200 pounds, but he knows how to score, and he can defend well enough to be on the floor. So those are my initial thoughts. I'm really impressed with those 2 guys.
Go ahead, have your Lakers moment. You deserve it.
No.
No. Go ahead. No. You deserve it.
All right, question. So, also, Celtics question. So, Perk said that he thinks Jalen's better than Tatum. Do you agree with that?
I'll go first. I think Jalen Brown, yes, is better than Tatum overall, but I think Tatum has the more talent. But Brown plays consistent on both sides. He's effective with the ball. He takes good shots, not all the time, but he most of the time he takes high quality shots. I think Tatum is obviously the more talented. He has the higher ceiling, but Jalen Brown, I think, is the consistent. And if he's getting the ball a lot and he's getting a lot of shots, the Celtics are winning. Look at the other night. I think it was the first Indiana game. Brown took 10 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Barely got the ball. And they lose that game. And that's what happened even during the playoffs last year. Who was in the fourth quarter hitting all those shots? Yeah. There was one game, I think it was either Miami or in the Toronto series. Brown had like 6 threes in the fourth quarter. I think he's the baller. Tatum, yes, has the talent. But I do like – now, I like them both together. I'm not saying keep one or the other. But, yes, I've always said that Jalen Brown is the more consistent and better player of the two. And Tatum has the more talent.
I'm just watching a little bit of the Celtics so far. I like what Tristan brings. He brings toughness down there.
Yeah.
He's not as aggressive, but he reminds you a little bit of Perkins the way he was for the Celtics. So he's not going to score, but he'll get boards and he'll bang down low. And then
we've needed that for years.
Yeah. And Tice brings it, but then Tice disappears for 2 quarters. And I didn't realize.
No, continue. Sorry.
I didn't realize Tice is getting $10 million a year.
What? Really? I didn't realize Tice had the opportunity to shoot 23s a game.
Yeah,
what the heck are you doing?
Yeah, I don't like him out there jacking up threes. That's one thing. When I'm watching it, actually, it pisses me off and frustrates me. I don't think he's a good enough shooter to be doing that in the first place. I know they run that double big lineup with Tice and Thompson, but I mean, I think those days are going to be over pretty soon. I think Tice is gone by next season, honestly. That's just my opinion. You got Robert Williams, who's emerging as a stud, can jump out the gym, great shot blocker, great rim runner. If you could develop a mid-range shot, I think it would really help his game out.
He has to stay out of
but
foul trouble.
but he is when you watch him out there, he affects the game. He draws people in because when he rolls, when they run the pick and roll with him, I like Peyton Pritchard and him running the pick and roll, Tatum or Brown, whoever the case, Teague, Smart. He brings all of defenders to collapse, and that leaves open shots for guys. Just got to make shots. So he's definitely, or you just throw it to him and he dunks it. I mean, he's such a threat.
I like that the kid Pritchard. He reminds me of Gordon Dragic the way he plays. I like his style. But I haven't seen the first rounder. I haven't seen him play much. Is he playing or?
Neesmith, no.
No, okay.
He's done nothing to prove anything. And I'm not going to overreact on Peyton Pritchard because last time I overreacted on a rookie, his name was Jawan Johnson. And yeah, exactly.
He's done more than Jawan Johnson's had.
No, I know exactly. That's what I'm saying. I was pumped when they took him. I'm like, I love this dude.
Did you see
he stunk.
They're already trying to find his nickname. They were talking about the last one, trying to find his nickname. I'm just like, slow down a little bit.
Exactly, and that's the point. Like, I like the way he plays. He's very confident. Like, that dude comes in, he's like isoing and trying to shoot the ball, which is fine. Like, great, good for you. If you're making those shots, like that's awesome. I'm just gonna taper it off a little bit. I want to see how he does, at least up until.
The bench needs that though. The bench desperately.
Yeah.
Our bench last year was absolute dog shit. It was terrible. Our bench last year, we had Semi Ojeley and Grant Williams.
Brad
That's what we
Wanamaker
were
was your
relying
leading
on.
scorer. The Wanamaker. Hey, I'll give him credit. He played well in the playoffs. But to have Brad Wanamaker be your leading scorer off the bench, you're not good.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You're not a good team.
I was looking up some stuff on the Celtics, and it was Marcus Smart. I was just reading. He has a shoulder contusion. So I mean, he's still gonna play, but he's gonna be wearing a shit. Where the hell did it go? Let me find it.
And that is your medical update with John.
Yeah. That's what happens when you work at a hospital.
Sponsored by Support for Stidham fan group.
Listen, I just want the kid to have a chance. I just want him to start a freaking game, man. I think the kid, he sat here for 2 years. They were saying, oh, we're going to go with him last year. Sorry, we're going to the Patriots again. But I just want him to have a chance. That's my side note.
I feel you.
He'll be playing with a wrap in his arm for a while. So that's the only new medical update.
My a couple points I have here is number one, I think the rotation problem with Robert Williams is really starting to get to me. So it's a little aggravating right now. Here's just his minutes so far the first 4 games. First game, 12 minutes. Next game, 22 minutes. Indiana, 12 minutes. Second Indiana game, 23 minutes. I didn't get the Memphis one. Or maybe the Memphis one was 23, so I might have misconstrued. But the point is, it's so inconsistent. And every time, if you look at his stats, 3 of 4 field goals, 4 of 4 field goals, 2 of 2 field goals, even if he's only taken 2 shots. His rotational, the minutes that he gets is so inconsistent. And it's funny because he actually comes in and makes an impact. And it's disappointing that he's not – I'm not saying he has to play 25 minutes, but why can't he play 20 minutes every single night? Like, consistent, 20 minutes, why? The dude – like, to me, I've seen already improvement. I don't feel like he's jumping for fakes like he used to. I feel like he's standing his ground. He's better defending and better defensive position. And like I said, he's efficient from field goal. The one thing with him is I'd like to see more of the pick and pop game as well. Just sprinkle that in here and there because I think he does have that. Not necessarily a 3, but even just a mid-range game. But that's where the coaching, and we'll talk about the coaching in a couple minutes, but that's where the coaching comes into play. I also got to say, too, I like Grant Williams. I am a fan of him, and I don't want to get rid of him or anything, but kind of disappointed with him this year. I don't think he's taken – I think he came out of the gate last year as a solid, not Al Horford. He's not Al Horford, but just a type of skill, like just being able to pass.
PJ Tucker type of guy.
Yeah, just to be able to pass, hit a couple shots when you need him to, like he did in Game 7 last year against Toronto. I turned on the game. What was it? The second Indiana game. That dude came in for 5 minutes, and he dribbled into 4 guys, fell over, and went out of bounds. And I'm like, what, dude? What the heck are you doing right now? what are you doing right now? That inconsistent. I think Grant Williams needs to improve just a little bit more. And then finally, the thing I'll say is the last point. Why is Semi Ojeleye here? What does Semi Ojeleye or Shemi? What does Semi Ojeleye do that makes him contributive to be able to contribute more than Robert Williams to the Celtics? What does he? Why? Because he's jacked out of his mind. He's got. Oh, you know what? That's what the Celtics fans would say, dude. He has great workouts at the Garden, in the gym. He throws a 100-pound medicine ball at the wall 25 times. That's why we got to play Semi. That's like Belichick taking N'Keal Harry because he was a nice guy in the meeting. Why is this dude playing? He offers nothing. He does nothing. Like nothing. It's not even like you put him in against Giannis and he's stopping Giannis. He doesn't even do that. Why is he here?
At mere best, he's an above average defender who seems like he's very lost on offense. Doesn't have much of an offensive game. I don't think it looks like he's never played basketball in his life when he's out there. Doesn't know how to put the ball on the floor, just and does he hit the three occasionally? Yeah. But do I want to rely on Semi Ojeleye to hit threes? I don't know.
If you have him and Grant Williams in the same lineup, like as a bench, you're screwed.
That's a plus minus. That's definitely going to be a minus.
Yeah.
The game. That's like plus minus scores. Like I think I read a stat. Grant coming into every lineup that had Grant in it was a minus this season so far.
Yeah, and I think he's been a positive player, but not this year so far.
I mean, I've just seen him get cooked on the drive. So in the pick and roll when they switch, he can't stay in front of guys. Like, and it's not even like point guards; it's wings. He's getting beat by wings. I
remember when Semi was coming out in the draft, they compared him to a poor man's Draymond. He does a little bit of everything, and I'm like, I don't see his offense at all. But I like Robert Williams. I think when he goes to the basket, he can be what Tyson Chandler used to be. He could be what DeAndre Jordan used to be. Just catch
lobs. Bam Adebayo too. He could be a semblance of Bam Adebayo if he adds a little, slashing to his game, dribbling to his game. Bam has that in him.
I'll stand up for his rotational minutes. Like I'll stand up for him not getting the opportunity consistently. I will say though, there feels like there is a little slack in terms of just his want and his drive. Like you just hear some of the off the court stuff, like being late for practices and stuff. I feel like there's a little bit of that. So, but to sit there and say he hasn't getting better, and for Brad to look and say, "Oh no, we can't use Robert in this situation because the analytics tell me that Robert is going to give up this many points." Like, dude. The dude deserves to play.
Over
the dude
Tice,
deserves to play.
I really don't want to see Tice out there that often.
I don't mind Tice off the bench, but I'll start Robert Williams. Like, come on, him and Tristan Thompson.
You have no shooting, but but it's the same lineup you're running, essentially
most of the time
with Tice.
Yes.
So why not?
Tice is shooting 12 threes a game.
I think Brad likes bringing Rob Williams off the bench. I think he likes bringing Rob and Peyton, Teague. I think he likes bringing those guys off the bench.
I think Brad likes a lot of things that aren't good for the team. But Jeff Teague, solid.
Yeah.
Solid so far off the bench. I mean, that's just a pure example of minimum veteran, minimum contract, or whatever he got. I don't know if he got the veteran minimum. But a low-cost point guard that I'll give Brad Stevens credit for. Any point guard can run his system and excel in it. Whether you're getting paid $30 million, Kemba Walker, or $1 million or whatever that Jeff Teague or Jordan Crawford or stinking Isaiah was making. Any point guard can run the system, and that's where the Kemba Walker contract comes into play. Like I said, I like Kemba Walker, but that money could be used elsewhere. Not that Danny Ainge would do anything with it because he hasn't done anything at all. But I think Jeff Teague has been a very, very solid addition to the team.
They also do have a $29 million traded player exception, so they can go out and they can get somebody on the market without sending salary back. I don't know if you guys were aware of that, but so when they traded Gordon and Hayward to Charlotte, the quote unquote sign and trade, they ended up getting a trade exception. So
let's not play any games. He's not going to use it.
I think he'll use it. I just don't think it's going to be this season. I think it'll be in the off season. That's my guess. I mean, who's really out there that you really want? Like a LaMarcus Aldridge, is he really gonna put you over the top?
I I wouldn't say him. I would take someone. I just see
Aaron
with
Gordon.
the trade. I would take Aaron Gordon. I would use that trade exception for him.
Now it's a question who you giving up for him, because Orlando's gonna be like, give me Jalen or give me someone that's. There's no way they're getting Jalen.
No.
I don't know. Are you giving up Smart for him? Are you giving up Peyton Pritchard for him?
I'm more than willing to move Smart now. I'm more than willing to move Smart. I think his intangibles are a little overrated now. I do think he's a baller, but I'm more than willing to move him now. I'm more than willing.
The Celtics lost their value with the Nets picks. Before those Nets picks were so valuable, but now with Kyrie and KD, they're not going to be high picks anymore. They should have traded those picks 2 years ago.
Well, let's bring this point up. We fleeced Brooklyn 10 years ago almost? No, not even. 7 years ago. Brooklyn's got the better team than you right now.
Yeah.
But Danny Ainge, the master GM. Trader Danny. He ain't Trader Danny. He hasn't made a trade. He couldn't even, and this is another point. You're telling me we couldn't have used Miles Turner? Did you watch Miles Turner play this year? I mean, he's not the greatest thing, but we couldn't have used him and Dougie Buckets? Come on, dude. Really? Really, dude. Oh, but we'll take the $28.3 million trade exception that you're never going to use. But you couldn't have taken Miles Turner. Give me a break. And you still could have signed Tristan Thompson. So don't tell me. This dude is on a short leash. I'm not saying fire him. But, this dude, if you don't make a trade deadline deal for, the 6th year in a row this year, or do something with that exception, if I'm Wick Grossbeck or Pagliuca, I'm like, Dan, dude, what are you doing right now? What are you doing with this team? They had such a good opportunity to go to, I'm not saying they would have beaten the Lakers, probably not, but they had such the opportunity in that bubble to get to the finals last year, and they had no bench. And who's to blame for that? It's not Brad's fault, even though Brad had coaching mistakes. It's Ainge's fault. I would take Isaiah Thomas off the bench. If you're not going to get anyone else, grab him off the bench. Get something. The bench is still an issue. And the fact that you couldn't grab Miles Turner for thinking Gordon Hayward at 24 years old and still take Dougie Big Buckets, who shoots 40%, not that he's the most consistent guy. You're telling me Doug McDermott would be a better off-the-bench piece right now than Semi Ojeleye? That's his lack of execution.
Offensively, yeah.
Yeah, offensively. No. I think we can handle the defensively. That's the thing. That's the thing when people say, his defense. I think we got plenty of other good defenders on this team that you can afford to have one guy just come off the bench and shoot. Really. I'm sick of hearing that excuse. I'm sick of hearing that. But his lack of movement. In that Gordon Hayward saga, that was just I remember that day. I'm like, what is this dude doing right now? What is he doing with his life? Why does Danny Ainge have to feel like he has to win every single trade? Why can't the other team win? Why can't Indiana win too? Why can't it be fair? Why can't everyone have a piece of the pie? Why not? Why does the Celtics have to flee to ask for stinking? You really thought you were going to get Miles Turner and Victor Oladipo for Gordon Hayward? Dude, what is wrong with you? That's what he wanted. That was the report. What is wrong with you?
I think what it is.
My rant's over.
I think what it is with him is ever since that it's probably just he got what he wanted with that. He won that trade with Brooklyn at the time. So now he's trying to win every other trade to say, look at me, I'm a good GM. Because I think it's honestly an ego thing, and I think he's starting to feel the pressure himself that, what have I done since then? I had one great trade.
I give him two. I give him credit for the Isaiah Thomas. I mean, Isaiah Thomas gave you almost MVP season. Not saying you would have won with the dude, but I give him that. But after that Kyrie Irving trade, though, he lost that. Oh, I'm sorry. He lost that. You could have used that 8th pick for either. If you analyzed Kyrie a little more, maybe you could have traded that 8th pick for maybe another different veteran or player, Or you could have used that not on Sexton, but maybe someone else. But even Sexton would probably be doing well in Brad Stevens' point guard system, and so you don't have to spend $30 million.
Well, with the Kyrie, my question is because I'm not that up to date with Brooklyn, or basketball's not quite my best sport. Do you think that how do you think Kyrie and KD are going to be this season? Do you think they'll be good, or do you think there'll be some implosions on the way during the
That's a
season?
tough question. That's a
If they
tough
keep
question.
if they keep on winning, they'll be fine. But then, it's the regular. It's a long season with basketball. But you have Kevin Durant, you have Gerald. Was it LeVert on that team? They have the talent.
You're gonna say Gerald LeVert?
Yeah.
Gerald Wallace LeVert.
He's a
Yeah.
singer.
They have too much talent. They have too much talent.
Casanova.
They got too much talent on that team not to be a four seed at the worst. At worst, they're a 4 seed.
Hey, before you continue, right? You know Brooklyn already has 2 losses. You know there's already drama happening in that locker room. Kyrie's already playing fingers. They already got 2 losses. Trouble's
They do?
brewing already. Oh yeah.
But
Kyrie's burning sage joints.
Kyrie is burning that sage heavily right now. They got 2 losses, man. That thing is already starting to implode.
Well, I was surprised when they played Boston that KD really took over, at least from what I saw. And I was just kind of like, I'm curious to see if that kind of continues, where he takes more of the big shots, and if that's gonna play to Kyrie's ego and his mental health, or whatever it is that he has, where he can't be number 2.
Well, Kyrie came out and said, for the first time in his career, he has somebody he trusts taking the final shot.
That was disrespectful to LeBron.
Of course, LeBron was crying about that, but so he trusts KD.
Yeah, I think that's all. I think it's all words for him for now. I think I don't know. To me, I just don't trust him. Like,
It's gonna go the way the Celtics did. The first year was not bad. He was very good the first year up until that game 7 where he didn't sit and support because he had to go get a nose job, like Michael Jackson. Like he couldn't be there to help Tatum and Brown in that game 7.
Because at
And
that point it would have been, it's the young guys club, not KD or Kyrie.
And let's say Kyrie gets hurt, and Karis LeVert comes out, and even though he's already balling, but let's say he balls even more, he has to start, and then he's gonna start feeling, oh, you think Karis is better than me? He'll put these things in his head. That's what Kyrie is, and that's why I think I'll give it a year, but if not a year, it'll definitely happen before the end of the year. And it's sad too because Anthony Davis and LeBron James, I think, are the best duo in the NBA right now. And I think with them, Anthony Davis obviously had a lot of maturing to do, but I think with LeBron James and the person and player he's become, he's kind of there to, show Davis, like, dude, we don't do this. We're not doing this here. Like, we're not complaining about who's getting the last shot. Like, we're playing. Where I don't think KD has that. I think KD is still mentally. I think him and Kyrie are the perfect marriage because they're just both crazy and they're great and amazing players. But I don't see it lasting. I really don't. And out of the two, I think KD's the one saying, get me out of here in a year or 2 from now. I don't want to be here. Why am I in Brooklyn with this dude? This dude's thinking, put sage on my head while I was sleeping. Like, dude, I don't want to be here.
We're in the honeymoon phase. You got to think.
Yeah.
They're definitely in the honeymoon phase, and it's very volatile. It's futile. You don't know. Like, if they're winning, everything's happy, hunky dory. If they're losing, things could implode real fast. So it's like
Bitcoin.
The talent's there. They're so deep. The Brooklyn Nets are so deep from top to bottom. You got Joe Harris, LeVert. You got Dinwiddie. I think he's hurt now, though. They have all these guys, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan, all starter-type players coming off your bench. So, Kyrie, I don't think could implode them. I'm not sure. While Durant is there, while another superstar is in there to check him, I don't think things will go by the wayside as bad as people are anticipating. I think Durant's got a lot more maturity than a lot of people think, though. I think Durant is the mature guy, and I think he's got a level head, and I think with his leadership and his skill, I think he'll get them through.
The Celtics had a deep team 2 years ago. But to your point though, yeah, they didn't have a Kevin Durant, so
The issue
it's
was with that
different.
team was that there wasn't a pecking order.
No,
There
there
was
was
no pecking order.
no.
You had Tatum, you had Brown, you had Hayward, you had Horford. It's like, who's getting the ball?
Yep, and he didn't embrace how good Tatum and Brown were getting at the time. He took that as a threat when they went to Game 7. He didn't appreciate that deep down. He did not enjoy that, which is on his part is terrible.
I want to
It
see
is
how, if it's a close game, they react to Steve Nash making a call.
Oh yeah, you remember that comment earlier
Yeah,
that
no
the
coach.
both of them made.
Yep,
So-
we're all coaches.
Mhm.
No.
We're all coaches, and that brings up this point. I have 3 words for you because I'm just done with the dude, and I'm sorry. We're not going to win anything with this dude, but can we move on from Brad Stevens? Like, I'm done. I'm done with him. He's like, we're never going to win with him. How long is it going to take you, dude, to look at Jason Tatum and say, JT, we're down 1 point. Don't take a 40-foot shot at the end of the game. Get to the basket and I'd rather see you get to the basket and get fouled. Or even if you don't get fouled, I'd rather see you get to the basket, take the strong take, get to 2. How long is it going to take for this dude to get to his players? I think he gets to some of them, but if we're going to have star talent here, Brad Stevens is not the guy. Do I think Evan Turner was a great hiring? Absolutely, because it's a player. Would I have taken other people over him? Absolutely. I don't know what made it Evan Turner because he was here and he only really played with Jaylen Brown. It's not like and Marcus Smart. It's not like he played with the whole team like last year. I think that was a very good hiring. But other than that, I mean, are these dudes looking at Jay Larranaga and be like, wow, that's the dude right there. When Jay tells me not to take a shot, I'm not doing it. Or like even Walter McCarthy, I think had a lot of respect when he was on that staff. I think he had that. So it's a players' league, and I just don't think, especially with the inconsistency of Robert Williams' minutes and all these just little things, and like a Tatum just taking 40-foot jumpers to win a game when he only needs 1 point. I don't think Brad Stevens is getting to these guys, and unfortunately, I think he's here for the long term, and I don't.
Oh yeah.
He's got a lifetime.
No, he's
deal.
not getting fired, dude.
He's not. Unfortunately,
You
he's not.
realize he's taken us.
He's gonna be Marvin Lewis of the NBA. He's gonna
yeah,
just
except
never
he
win
wins.
anything.
He's just
never
tickling
gonna
your
win
balls
anything.
pretty much at this point. That's all you get. Well, ball tickle.
Yeah, it's like blue. He's gonna get to you to the Eastern Conference Finals, give you the blue balls, and then he's gonna just implode. And that's what happens. And then there's gonna be fights in the locker room and whatever. And that stinks because you know what? To bring up James Harden, would I take James Harden on the Celtics as pure talent? Absolutely. Now with Tatum and Harden, I mean with Tatum and Brown, I'm not trading Brown for Harden. Is not a guy I would trade Brown for. But if that situation gets bad in Houston, where Houston has really no more leverage, which I think it could very well get to, I think Houston could get to the point where they have no leverage, even though Harden's balling out right now. If the Celtics are the only team making an offer and they say we'll give you Smart, Langford and like 3 first rounders or something, and other things too, and they don't have to give up Tatum Brown, then who doesn't do that?
You know what
But the
frustrated
question
me
is-
in the offseason? Sorry to cut you off, Mike.
Yeah.
Christian Wood. Christian Wood has been averaging like 30 points a game for the Houston Rockets. And he signed a $13 million, I think, per year deal.
Yeah.
Why couldn't the Celtics come out there and get a guy like that? That's exactly what they need. A 4 who can stretch the floor, who can score inside and out, and they didn't even make a competitive offer for Christian Wood. They were linked to trade rumors for the guy. Maybe he wanted to go to Houston, but it's just like, man, like that's the perfect guy right there.
It's the ultimate blue balls. They're linked in every trade rumor. It's like, oh, the Celtics are good close. They're gonna get Harden tonight. It's just, and you're right. It's like, why can't we go out and get that dude? Why do we have to rely on all these bench, like this homegrown talent thing? Why do we have to rely on all these guys? But the back to the Harden thing, like I would do that trade, like if they get to the point where Houston's not getting any offers, and the Celtics have the best offer of Smart and whoever and first round picks. I'm sure Houston's gonna look at it and say we're getting nothing else. This dude's gonna walk for nothing. We're getting nothing else. At least we can get Smart. We can get some more picks in the first round, even though they're not gonna be great picks.
Romeo Langford probably yada yada yada.
Potentially. Yeah, potentially. But the thing is, though, it comes back to Brad Stevens. You're telling me Brad Stevens is going to be able to handle a room with Tatum Brown and James Harden? Absolutely not. So what's going to be the change in course where we say Brad is holding our team back? I take Ty Lue, and I'm just using his name, but a
I
coach
like
like that,
Ty Lue.
like I would take a coach like that, a player coach. Even Steve Nash, I think, has a lot of respect in that locker room in Brooklyn. Say what you want about Kyrie, he's a player. Evan Turner as the head coach would get a lot more respect than Brad Stevens would. So I think Stevens is going to hold us back, and you know what? Unfortunately, I think the Celtics are going to wait too long to make that cut, and Ainge as well. But Ainge can easily make some deals that are out there, but he's just not doing it. But he can easily make some deals to do it. He's just not doing it.
I
Agreed.
think Frank Kaminsky's out there.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't think the Celtics want him.
He's the best guy out there right now to go
Pilot
free
doo-doo.
agency.
I would take Isaiah.
I think
We
too.
just need
Off the
another wing
bench.
that can score. They
Veteran
just need another
minimum.
wing that can score. Like
The
a
trade
Terrence
deadline's
Ross
gonna be
kinda guy.
dead this year. Just with the way COVID is, if you trade a player, they gotta sit out 2 weeks. So I don't see a lot of people getting traded during the deadline.
To counter you, I think the trade deadline 2 weeks before the trade deadline could be busy.
That's true.
In that regard,
Mm.
just to counter you. But I also get your point too. It looks like we lost Louie. You know, Louis? All right, he'll come back. But yeah, no, I do agree with that too, though. I know it'd definitely be dead for the Celtics. The Celtics are going to get an offer for like Nikola Vucevic, and they're going to want Grant Williams, and they're going to be like, no, we can't give up.
Hey, you never know, Danny. I mean,
We can't give
anybody
him up.
could change. You never know, man.
I hope, but it's been 5 years in a row with no trades, no nothing, no improvements other than, drafting Tatum and Brown because of the Brooklyn trade and imploding and losing 3 free agents that you had if you include Kyrie as a trade. You lost Kyrie, you lost Horford, and you lost Hayward for absolutely nothing. And you're going to lose Kemba Walker for nothing because he's going to be nothing. Because his knees are too bad, and he's a baller, but his knees, when you're getting stem cells, how are you going to hold up for this long?
The Morris twin too.
Them two,
Okay.
they were solid.
Mm-hmm.
We had Marcus.
Marcus.
Solid, and you let him go. But how about you for the Lakers? I mean, what's going on with them? I mean, they lost Rondo, so I don't think they're going to win now.
I don't even think they're worried about the regular season.
Playoff Rondo, man. He's gonna take Atlanta to the finals this year.
Right. I'm mad, man. I don't know why he signs there and like an hour later Chris Dunn signed there. That move made no sense for me. Well, I don't know why. What was going on with that?
Wait. All right. You bring it. What's happening with Chris Dunn?
Well, he has a cartilage issue. He had to get cartilage drained from his knee, which isn't a good sign. So he's probably gonna be out for half the season. He can't stay healthy right now.
No. All right.
Terrific defender, the kid is.
Yeah.
I do have a PC question for you though.
Go ahead.
Just like a choice. Like in terms of just pure baller.
Chris Dunn.
Winner.
Chris Dunn.
Who are you taking? Chris Dunn or Bryce Cotton?
Oh, I think you're gonna say David Duke. Oh. I'm taking Cotton.
That's right. All right. Okay. All right. You know your stuff. Okay.
Because the question going around now is David Duke better than Chris Dunn, and I was like, no.
If Duke can lead them to like a Big East championship, then I would do that. Dunn, they never won with Dunn.
I mean,
Dunn's a baller. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was very good. He was excellent. I'm not saying that. With Cotton, I felt like Cotton was a winner. Like it was just there was something different there. And even though Dunn might have been more talented, like I just feel like I embrace that a little bit more, especially when it comes to PC.
Cotton's he's a legend in Australia right now. He's won like 6 straight championships in Australia right now.
Yeah.
But what he did in the Big East tournament when he played every minute of the final 3 games, that was just
against Dougie McDermott. Oh man.
But the team that David Duke has is better than any team that Dunn had. This team right here is loaded. They have to make some noise.
It is. Yeah, I mean between him and Watson,
AJ Reeves.
And the thing I noticed big about them too is, I've noticed a little style change in Ed Cooley.
Yeah.
I feel like the last couple of years, even I could say like when they went on the run before COVID last year, like I feel like they kind of changed as well. But before that, everything was let's take 15, 20 seconds off the shot clock.
Yep.
15, dribble around the three, pass it. Reeves comes around, passes it, boom, back and forth. And then finally, they would try to do something with 10 seconds left on the clock. Now I think they're moving around a little bit earlier in the clock. They're trying to run a little faster pace, and they're getting the ball inside. They're actually letting Watson score the bucket. And that dude has always been – it's his third year?
Third year, yeah.
Dude's a beast.
He just hit 1,000 points, so yeah.
Dude's a beast. I think that's a big difference, and I think Cooley kind of changed his coaching around. Now, maybe because he has more of the talent to do that, you could say that, but I think the coaching change definitely, that's helped.
And then picking up Bynum. So Bynum, he's the point guard, the transfer. He gets the ball out of David Duke's hand, and you let him go with the pick and roll with Duke slashing to the basket, Reeves in the corner. They're gonna be a tough matchup. They just can't beat a zone defense. A team that can play a good zone, they can't beat them. But they got a big game tomorrow versus Creighton. That's gonna be big.
And they just beat Butler the other night.
Yeah, they beat Butler handily. But
Butler
Creighton's gonna be
ranked?
tough.
Butler wasn't ranked, right?
No. They got Creighton coming up, and they still got Villanova, and then UConn twice.
I was taking them last year against Villanova.
In the Big East?
After that last game they played against them before COVID?
Yeah.
I would have given them a shot in the turn. I think they would have been in the finals last year if COVID didn't cancel it. That's how good I thought they were playing.
Jay Wright's a great coach over there.
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't take the Sixers job.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. If you're having a successful college program, like
stay there.
Stay there. You're making just as much money, probably a little less, but you're making good money, and you got the risk. Like Villanova loves that dude.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure Butler loved Brad Stevens, and Alabama loves Nick Saban, and all that stuff. Like, why would who's the dude?
Paterno?
Yeah.
Patino?
That dude's a goof. But why would we'll use Nick Saban. Why would Nick Saban want to ever leave Alabama to come and coach in the NFL? He already did that once. Why would he do that? He's a legend down there. Or even Urban Meyer, wherever I forgot where he coached, but like, why would that dude want to come to the NFL and deal with all that stuff? Why would he want to come to the Jets?
Who would want to go to the Jets anyways?
Jarrett Stidham will be the starting quarterback of the Jets next year.
You know how happy Trevor is now that they won 2 in a row?
Yeah. And it's going to be 3 in a row this week.
If we lose to the Jets at that point, we lose any right to be.
If we lose, we get the 9th pick.
I don't care.
Potentially get the 9th pick. I'll move up. I'm good with that. I'm done with this.
I'll take the loss too.
I'll take the loss.
I don't know. You're probably future wise, it's smart, but damn, that would just hurt.
If you realize if the Patriots kept every other game the same way and they lost Arizona and the Jets game that we watched at the hospital when they kicked the field goal and we got pumped for, they would have the number 3 pick.
And you would blow it in a receiver the wrong way.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, he would take the guy from like Rutgers, like the stinking long snapper, with the 3rd pick. It'd be the highest pick for a long snapper ever. Like that's what the dude would do. That's what the dude would do.
I love to see.
I don't think
Quiddy Pay. I'd love for that to happen.
What'd you say?
I'd love for us to get Quiddy Pay. I feel like that'd just be a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Guy.
Oh, the linebacker. Oh, yeah. Never mind. Yeah, sorry. Never mind.
From Hendricken. He's the one that went to Hendricken.
Yep.
We got the full scouting report on Quiddy.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Tough kid.
No, but here's what happened, right? He'll come in, he'll miss a tackle, and Belichick will say, "No, I'm done. I'll take the guy. I'll take the long snapper." Like that's just Belichick. It's like it's annoying. It's annoying. Like take the talent. Take the talent. Why are you worried about who's gonna respect you? Why? Like stop. It's a different game now. You don't have Tom Brady to make up for your differences anymore. Like you just don't. Like take the talent. And I hope they take that dude. Why? Is he gonna be top 10? I know nothing. No, I know
He'll be top 15. Top 15.
Where's
I
he
mean,
play?
Say again?
Where's he
Oh
play?
no, I was gonna say
Michigan.
Yeah, Mitch.
But he only played 6 games this year, so
I'm pretty sure he played with Chase Winovich or
he played with Chase and he played with the
Uche.
Gary that went to the Steelers. So he was
Okay.
the opposite side
Uche
of him.
from Michigan too? Josh
Was
Uche?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not
Like
sure.
you know?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
Uche's good. I like Uche. And I think if you can add a player like him, if you can add a player like him to the defense, that would be all. That's a good young core right there. Like your team gets better. Your team get. It says he's from Hawaii.
Yeah, he played for Michigan.
Oh yeah, Peyton. Never mind. So I was looking at something else. Never mind. He's not from Hawaii. Yeah, Michigan. But BCS talk. That's all you. What would you like to talk about?
Going Alabama over Notre Dame, Clemson over Ohio State, Alabama Clemson rematch, and Alabama's gonna roll. I think this year has just been too easy for Alabama, and Notre Dame shouldn't be there. Notre Dame loses by 35 in the championship. There's no way they should be in the Final Four. They're there because of their name. I'm taking Alabama by 20 over them easily.
How's Boise State doing?
Who? They had that one run. I don't think they're relevant.
They got that cool field though. I love that field. That field is awesome. The blue field. That is great stuff. All right. Any final thoughts on anything? Anything?
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna add a segment here. We're gonna call it Louie's FanDuel lineup for tonight. So playing some FanDuel. Hope we win some big money here
I'm logging on right now.
for my guys. So for the 7 p.m. slate, I got Drew Holiday as my point guard. I got Curry as my second point guard. I got Duncan Robinson, Derrick Rose, Kyle Anderson, Jaylen Brown, Draymond Green, Kyle Kuzma, and Bam Adebayo. So hopefully those guys will make me some money, and maybe it can make you guys some money too.
Trust in Kuzma, huh?
Yeah, against San Antonio.
Yeah.
And you can catch me and Lou on the call tonight, 7 o'clock, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
I wish.
Anybody but Perkins. Anyone but Perkins.
I like Perkins.
No, not calling basketball,
I
dude.
think it's a little.
I think. Well, listen to the pregame show. Well, first of all, dude, where's Kyle Draper? What the heck happened to the dude?
He left.
What?
He left.
Did he really?
Yeah, he went to the Sacramento. He's like a Sacramento play-by-play guy now.
No.
Yeah, he got a better job.
Oh, that's a bummer. I liked him. I enjoyed him.
Yeah, Drapes was a good host.
I enjoyed him. We went on him, but man, we gotta do a tribute to Drapes.
Now, give me Scalabrine all day over Perkins.
I find him annoying sometimes. I do.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like the Draper Scala thing.
That was awesome. And I think when you added Perk into that last year too in the playoffs, I thought that was great. Like just the three of them going at it with each other. I like Perk. I like Perk. I do. With Scal, I think all of them. I think all the coverage, even Mike Gorman can get like that. I think all of them are a little homey. Like even Scal would be like, keep letting Tatum get to Tatum's gonna have a top 5 like the Kobe fadeaway, and it's like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? Like stop. Like stop.
It's funny. I think Scal's actually he's more what's the word? He criticizes more than a lot of the broadcasters do. Like he's
more than
I feel
Tommy.
like he's less biased. I feel like he does have less bias. Yeah.
I mean, rest in peace to Tommy. That was sad, but even with him too, like he was. It was all in good fun, but there were times where like Greg Steamer's the next Bill Russell. Like, dude, that was funny. I'm like, and that's why I think the coverage kind of gets a little annoying. Not that I'd rather watch a national broadcast, because I think TNT. I've actually, other than Kevin Harlan, I think TNT's crew, other than Inside the NBA, I think they are trash.
Chris Webber is horrible.
I used to like Chris Webber. I don't know. I don't really enjoy him that much anymore.
His commentary is terrible. He's probably one of the worst. Him and Reggie Miller get tied.
Oh,
yeah.
Reggie Miller's
Harlan's the man, though. Harlan is phenomenal.
Give me Doris Burke all day.
I like Doris Burke.
Give me Doris all day.
She's from Providence.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I like Doris Burke. I like her a lot. I'd take Abby Chin over Chris Webber. I would.
No comment. No
I
comment.
would. I would. Just for the visual and the audio. All right. Any
That was my FanDuel lineup for tonight. Just so you guys were curious.
spot on? Thank you. How much money are you putting on this one?
Good old $3.
Nice. Very good. Very good. All right. Let's do some takeaways. Will, you got a takeaway?
Lakers are looking good. Raiders don't want to talk about them. Alabama's rolling, so 2 out of 3 is not bad. PC. I got PC going. If we have NCAA tournament, have them going hopefully past the first round, and hopefully Cooley gets past the first weekend. And as far as the Celtics, I got them as a 4 or 5 seed. And I still say Miami, Brooklyn, Eastern Conference Finals.
John? Any final thoughts?
I think it'll be interesting. I think it will be interesting tonight to see the, not the Falcons, wrong sport. The Atlanta. What the hell is their team again?
The Hawks.
The Hawks. There you go. Had a minor stroke there. The Hawks and the Nets tonight. Damn, that was a long. The Hawks and the Nets.
I think Rondo takes out Kyrie.
They're still undefeated.
Rondo's going to take out Kyrie. I'm telling you, Rondo's going to cross him up. He's going to pull the old Andrew Bynum behind the back on Kyrie. Oh, and Kyrie's going to need some stinking peppermint to add to his stage.
He's going to need to look at the flat map again to make himself feel better.
He's gonna be looking up to Rondo. I believe in Rondo. Louie, any final thoughts?
I just hope I win some money tonight, honestly.
Yeah.
It's 2021. Hit me with blessings, mate.
2000 can finally drink. It's finally legal. 21.
Yeah, no, I think in terms of just the landscape in Boston sports, I think it's in a little lull right now. I think obviously the Patriots not being a winner or even making contention this year definitely brings that down. I think if there's one team that helps bring kind of the interest back, I think it's the Celtics. I think the Red Sox could be sleepers if they do make some moves. Hopefully they do. That would be nice. That'd be nice to have a baseball season. Do I think they will? No, but it'd be nice to have some sort of a baseball season. Because I think the Red Sox
might not be bad.
I think the Red Sox, if they win and are a good team, there's still a lot of Red Sox fans. I mean, there's still a good amount. I mean, if they can win, and the Bruins might not be bad. I think a lot of people are sour about Chara leaving. But other than that, I mean, I like I said in a previous podcast, I think the Celtics are the team of the future. But that's relying on two things. That's relying on Brad Stevens either taking the step and being able to coach heavy talent with egos, and Ainge's ability to maybe get back into being more aggressive, like a Daryl Morey. Not as aggressive as him, but
Dude just loves James Harden.
Yeah.
Another sleeper team, I think, kind of like what goes on in LA, is the little brother who sleeps at Gillette Stadium, the Revs. You never know, Gillette could become a Revs place more than a Patriots place.
I don't think that'll be the case. I think the Revs, if the Red Sox stink again, I think the Revs are coming for the Red Sox. In terms of popularity, I don't think they're coming for the Patriots. That's the Red Patriots Sox will still be popular.
You gotta remember something. The Red Sox, you have generations of Red Sox fans. Like, for personal experience, my grandfather was alive when they won in 1918, and I watched it with him in 04. So, like, you have that generational gap that's, like, built into you. The Red Sox aren't going anywhere. They could go 0-162. You're going to have people that are Red Sox fans. The Patriots are more new. They've only been around since 60. So, I think the Red Sox and Celtics, they're the Red Sox, Celtics, and Bruins. Those are the diehard three.
What about the Providence Steamrollers?
Hey.
Oh, those...
I think to counter you though, I think baseball in general though has become a game that has
Oh yeah, definitely.
caused space between generations like ourselves
Yeah,
and being able
definitely.
to sit and watch games. And that's why I think you can go watch soccer. But I mean, I think you can watch a soccer game for 90, knowing you're only going to be there for 90 minutes compared to a 5-hour Red Sox game that they lose in extra innings to. I think soccer, especially if the Red Sox don't win the next couple of years and the Revs keep getting better, oh man, I'm sorry. I think the Revs can definitely out, especially with baseball going the way it is. It's just a mess. It's Red Sox have become too analytical. The baseball's become too
Yeah,
analytical,
way too analytical.
and I think the Revs can easily come up, especially with Kraft, and especially if the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots add into it too. If the Patriots are not, good next year, Kraft might be looking and saying, well, you know what, the Revs, maybe I can put a little more resource into the Revs.
Well, the Kraft wants the Revs to go near Dorchester. He wants to build a stadium for them somewhere in the Boston area. That's what I heard.
I mean,
I don't know how you're gonna put it, but he wants Dorchester somewhere.
Yeah, I think the Revs can definitely make a run for it. Not that I'll be watching.
Yeah.
Because I'm probably not, but there is a good soccer fan group, especially younger kids, and they have a base.
And they're building a whole stadium in Pawtucket for soccer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The fan base is there, just not for me.
No, it's not. No, I agree. No, I agree. All right, so we have our MJR podcast family, the Studs podcast. We have Meetup with Mila, which will be debuting on Monday. We have MJR and Friends, which will be coming out with a new episode the week after this, next week. And we also got one more, and he's in the top right corner. Can you tell us about the Dad and Bud podcast?
It's something that when Mike brought it to me, it was a perfect opportunity. My son's always watching YouTube and watching different videos, so I talked to him about it. It's something that it gives me opportunity to spend time with my kid and talk about things that we both love. I'll be doing my sports talk, talking about everything current, my views on Sunday matchups, college basketball, NBA, and he's gonna jump on with me, talk about his Pokemon cards. He already got some ideas. He wants to go buy Pokemon cards, open them up, reveal what he got, do his Fortnite videos. He's still doing his martial arts. He's just a kid being 9 years old in this COVID world and what it's like growing up. And I think the best thing is it's a chance for me to bond with him and show different things in the view of a 9-year-old and show a view of mine. So we already have a couple segments lined up. I got a Kobe tribute planned up, which is coming up in 3 weeks. A buddy of mine who lives in Lower Merion, he went to Lower Merion. He's going to come and talk about the impact. My son's going to do his Pokemon stuff. I got a friend who his father actually walked and worked for Martin Luther King. So he's going to come on and do something in February for Black History Month. So it's just a little bit of everything, of what it's like to be a dad and a son combination. And hopefully people get something out of it, laugh, learn, and just grow with us as my son says, we just dab along. And thanks again, Mike. It's going to be something cool to do with him.
Definitely will. It definitely will.
Seeing that.
Yeah, for
definitely.
sure. For sure. Now, will any time frame? You think?
As soon as I figure out the video, he wants to make the first one already.
Oh, beautiful.
As soon as we're done with this, I'm gonna try to record it. Now, if I can't figure it out on here, I might have to do it on the tablet and send it to you.
Yeah.
But as soon as I figure out the video next week, hopefully get it done this weekend. We'll definitely get it done this weekend. I'll send it to you.
Can't wait. And we also got Lines with Lou. That would be a new podcast, Lines with Lou. We'll be doing lines.
Whoa, what kind of line are you talking?
Oh, no. I'm just kidding.
Rapping
Lou,
lines,
Lou,
obviously.
that was supposed to be a private stream. I'm sorry, Lou. Sorry.
Rapping lines. No.
And John already knows the podcast he's doing.
Oh my God!
I'm just kidding. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. I said this was going to be half an hour. That's okay. I always lie. The number becomes a half an hour. You can check us out on Facebook at their new channel, a new page name. It's MJR Podcast Family. YouTube is still the same Studs Podcast. And we'll be adding separate YouTube channels for the other podcasts as well. This is going to be released on Spotify and on the Anchor platform, so you can definitely check that out. And with that being said, have a safe, healthy new year. Let's make it better than it was last year for sure. And hopefully COVID numbers start to decrease. I would love to see that. We'll see if that happens. But to everyone, Happy New Year. And let's prosper in 2021. And support for Stidham. You can go to supportforstidham.com and make a donation for starting Jarrett Stidham because I want to see him play on Sunday. Peace out.
Have a good night.